So I was speaking with someone close to me the other day and I asked how happy they were with their current profession. And you know what their answer was? 3 out of 10. So naturally, I asked what would make that number way higher on that scale for you. And you know what they said? They said, howdy everyone, Nate here. I'm going to finish that story during this video because there's a very specific reason I shared it, which you're about to get. We need to know some stuff to make sure that you're doing the right thing on YouTube. First thing we need to know is this. One of the main points of a discussion I have with people just like yourself is around this. And it is from all of these discussions that I have come up with my definition of what this actually means for YouTube specifically. Number one, it is a group of audience that already exist that you are making content for. And number two, there is no two, just the one. And one of the key factors of that definition is that that audience already exists before you ever did anything for them. Next, we need to figure out what this means. What does it actually mean to niche down versus niching up? And I want you to listen closely here because you probably have not seen it this way before. To niche down with your audience simply means to get more specific with what you do for them. And so it follows that the opposite of that, to niche up, is just simply to get more broad or less specific with what you do for them. It is really that simple, but let me give you some examples of that in action. Niching down has some really big advantages depending on what your goals are. The two primary advantages of niching down and getting more specific with your audience is it's one, easier to own that space. If you are one of the few players in that very specific area that you're playing on YouTube, you can become the preeminent or the number one player in that space much easier. And two, it tends to be easier to grow when you niche down. Now here is why that is. Let's say I'm a consultant and I teach companies how to do better presentations for their employees. If I have a specific modality for doing that, let's say I use whiteboards and I'm one of the only people that is doing whiteboard explainer videos for companies teaching them how to train their employees, if the audience knows that they want that help, they're going to search for that specific thing. So what's going to show up? Well, my videos, because I niched down to that specific area, those specific topics that I'm covering within my videos, they're going to find mine. And if it is a smaller overlooked area of YouTube and no one else is doing it, so to speak, then naturally I'm going to be the one that shows up. That is why this is the case here. The two major cons with niching down is one, you tend to reach the cap or the terminal velocity. The rate at which you can grow your channel is very clearly defined by how many people in the universe that are using YouTube actually want what you're giving them. And the second issue is if in the future you want to expand to more niches and you're only known for a very specific group of things, it can be more difficult to expand beyond that. The two primary advantages of niching up or going more broad with what kind of audience you're targeting are these. One, when you niche up, you are more likely to have a larger amount of people that could be interested in what you're doing, which literally means by the laws of numbers, more spread, or at least more potential spread for what you're doing. Two, more interest in what you are doing. Potentially, more people are more interested in what you're sharing with them. Continuing the example of the person that's doing whiteboard explainer videos for business owners, how would I niche up with that channel? Well, I could make videos like drawing the whiteboard of how I imagine the HQ at Google looks like, what their meetings are like, and then having a bit of a parody with it. I could be demonstrating this expertise of how good I am at doing these whiteboard explainer videos, but maybe I make it about a real or a fictional company and play that up more. So that the niching up here is, even if I as an audience member are not interested, I'm not a business owner looking for better whiteboard explainer videos, I might still be interested in watching that because I care about companies in general and how they run their business. Now, there are absolutely some disadvantages of niching up with your channel. And interestingly enough, they're kind of the opposite of the advantages of niching down. Specifically, if you're playing in a larger space that are already other large players in that space, it could be much more difficult to carve out your place on YouTube. And because of that, growth can take longer. All right, so what do we do about this niching up versus niching down thing? You are somewhere on this scale of niching up versus niching down. And I want you to think of this as a slider that can go up or down, and you get to decide where you slide it. So the action I want you to take here is decide where you are on the slider. And if you want additional help on how to go about doing that, I just published a couple of videos on this channel that you can watch after this. And now for my favorite YouTube niche ideas based on what I'm seeing happen on YouTube this year. The freelancer niche. If you are a freelancer with a specialty in a certain skill set, make a channel about that skill set, demonstrating your expertise and or showing projects you are working on. What this will do for you is first serve as a portfolio, potentially an evergreen portfolio of the expertise of your work. It will also allow you to increase your prices that you charge for your services, as well as eliminate the number of conversations needed before you acquire a new client. Why? Because they've already watched a bunch of your stuff and they already see that it's valuable and they already like you. Hopefully. All right, next, businesses. You can take what you are already doing for your business and treat your YouTube channel as a lead funnel that educates your audience on that thing. Whatever niche you're in, you probably have some ideal clients already. The main thing you're targeting with your business, decide where that is on the scale with your content, and then treat your channel like a super valuable resource that educates that audience. It's gonna make it so that people like and trust you before they ever purchase, because they've spent so much time with you watching your videos and seeing your expertise and liking your videos, so that you're able to, with a YouTube channel, eliminate several warming up steps that the traditional business has to go through before they acquire a client. And next niche we're going to look at is called booping the like button on this video. If it is being eye-opening and helpful to you thus far, thank you for doing that. All right, we're going to move on. Really, the next niche I see exploding this year is the artist niche. What I see working on YouTube for artists this year is building a library of entertainment, combined, and this is important, with personality. You see, I've been seeing this writing on the wall for a while now. I've had conversations with a variety of different artist style channels, musicians, visual artists, you name it. And the one thing I keep seeing being true over and over again is that now in today's economy and on YouTube specifically, it's not enough to just be good at your art. It's not enough to just make a video of you playing the piano and just publishing that video. What people on YouTube want is they want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see the person, the creator behind the scenes while you're creating that content. Because what you're doing when you do that is you're taking people from an audience that doesn't know you and could care less to people who actually care. And next niche. Mental health. Now, we want to tread carefully here because this deals in the medical space and we don't want to just go out there and pretend like we're an expert when we really aren't an expert. What I want you to do is target a specific type of person with your mental health help. For example, single moms, recently divorced people, business owners. Pick an area that you have expertise in and go really into that space, really help that type of person. Just be authentic and share your real story on why you're qualified to share that with them, and you are going to do huge things. And next niche. Wow, that went right back. Next niche, automation and simplification. Again, for a specific area that you are really good at. I could use this one right now. So for example, if you were targeting me, it would look like understanding the ins and outs of all the pieces required to run a successful small online marketing business and demonstrating how to automate each of those pieces to make the business owner's life much easier. Which, by the way, if that's you or you know someone that is really good at that, hit me up. I want to talk to you. Now, this simplification and automation wouldn't just have to target business owners. It could target teachers, making their job easier. It could target doctors. There's a lot that could be done in this space. And next niche. Journeys, specifically journeys happening in your life already. For example, I've had multiple conversations recently with people in the homesteading space. The homesteading space is a perfect example to demonstrate what I mean here. When you are homesteading, you're doing something on an ongoing basis, and it tends to be cyclical. So for example, in the springtime, you might be raising baby goats, and in the wintertime, you're putting away food for the winter. So your niche here isn't about raising baby goats or canning because that's cyclical, it's seasonal. Instead, your niche here is the journey you are going on and bringing people along for that journey. If you're a professional or a professional hobbyist and you're doing something already, I would definitely look into this. And next, we need to talk about what factors are most likely to predict your success in the niche that you choose. You ready? Let's do this. What I want you to do here is measure yourself and the niche you've chosen for YouTube against this. I have spoken now with hundreds of YouTube creators one-on-one, and for many of them in the capacity of a consultant giving advice based on their channel analytics, how it's performing, what's working, what's not working, and the space that they are playing in on YouTube, the niche that they're in on YouTube. And I've seen 5 things that are most likely to predict the future success of that YouTube creator's chosen niche. Number 1, let's pretend this is you here. If that creator makes sure that the niche they have chosen matches their long-term goals. Like if they continue this trajectory that they're on right now, will it actually accomplish what they want it to do long-term? Second, if what that creator is doing matches the skills or experience they already have acquired previously in their life and they're just bringing it to YouTube, that's another indicator. Next, if what that creator chooses to do as a niche is something that they are already doing in their life, like actively, that they already do. If it's a hobby, they're already working on that hobby. If it's a profession, they're doing it in their day-to-day life. If it's something they are already doing, that's another factor. And next, if what that creator is doing or if what you are doing is something that you look at what is already existing on YouTube, you watch the videos, you see the other content that's out there, and you think, dang, I could do that better. Or if you're dissatisfied with what's already out there or it's incorrect, that is another good indicator. And next, if that creator decides to play in a space on YouTube that just makes them happy, they just like what they are doing. Now, I've seen this time and time again where a creator will go to YouTube and they'll say, well, I have the skills and experience. Maybe that's what I'll make my niche. Or they'll say, well, I'm already doing it. Maybe I'll try to make some money with my hobby. Or they'll say, I'm just really interested in this. And we'll say, all right, I'm just going to do this because it makes me happy. Or they might think, man, YouTube is a really good opportunity. I could make a lot of money with it. I'm just going to make a channel about whatever. Or they're so fed up with all the terrible content on YouTube and they say, you know what, I'm just going to go here and I'm just going to set the record straight for everyone. All right, at this point, you're probably wondering why there's this center circle here. And you're probably thinking, I'm going to say, well, if you can do something that combines all 5 of these things together, then you're in an ideal situation. Well, you got me. I am kind of going to say that. If you can actually find something that combines all 5 of these factors, you do have the highest likelihood of success. However, I will not go so far as to say that you have to have all 5 of these things to be successful on YouTube, because it all comes down to, get this, your definition of success. If, for example, you really want to share something and leave a legacy behind by just publishing videos because you want to publish them, then maybe all that takes is that it makes you happy and it accomplishes your goals. And if it does those 2 things for you, then that is success. This center space is the best indicator of the longevity of the channel because it's happy and it's accomplishing your goals, but also the income potential and the likelihood of it growing more quickly if you have the skills or experience, or it's something you're already doing, so it requires less skill sets to actually get started. Now, for the story that I started this video with, when I asked them what would increase their happiness quotient dramatically, they said, if I were to pretty much drop everything, get a van and travel around the country and review the local theaters, like the musical theaters in each of these local towns, to find the obscure theaters as well as the large Broadway theaters. So what do you think I did during that conversation? I sat them down right there and said, what would it actually take to do that sooner than you think? Let's talk about what would it actually cost to get a van? What kinds of videos would you do? How would you get sponsors? Would you get a dog for your journeys? Which is, of course you would. And what would you name that dog? These are important questions. So my question to you is, why are you doing a niche that you don't want, or doing a niche that you do want, but you're doing it in a way that you don't want to do? That was a lot of do's. If you're doing something you want to do, but you're not doing it in a way that fits you, why the heck are you doing that? And the next question is, what would it take for you to do what you do like a lot sooner or right now?